Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a supernatural horror film, DANUR Part 2, MADDAH. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The film begins with an interview video of an old man named Auntie, who shares a story of a woman he met that he never forgot. They met in the pavilion in the backyard, and he describes her as a beautiful woman with long wavy hair who smelled good. She'd also played the piano, but it is always the same song. Auntie hums the melancholic music that she'd always played. The scene then changes to a little girl, Riri, waking up outside on a giant tree. As the day is gloomy and the giant tree gives her a creepy vibe, she runs away to get home, but she is still near the giant tree. She then hears a woman singing a children's song, and she screams as she feels the presence of an evil ghost of a woman beside her. The scene then changes to Risa, Riri's older sister, waking up and realizing that she had a nightmare with her sister in it. Riri knocks on the door and bugs her sister to wake up and get ready because they are late. Risa gets out of bed as she hears her alarm. However, she finds it in the closet, but she seems unbothered about why it is there. As she leaves the room, her three little boys' ghosts reveal themselves inside the closet, laughing as they had made fun of Risa. Later that day, the sisters visit their Auntie's house. The family warmly welcomed the sisters to their home. Before they leave, Auntie's son, Auntie, reminds them to come with them to their grandma's grave tomorrow. Auntie and her son go inside their house, while the father, Auntie, the same old man shown at the beginning of the film, goes to the abandoned pavilion in their backyard. The following day, Risa watches as her little sister does her final ballet rehearsal. She takes pictures of Riri with other girls and her teacher. However, she notices a white blur on the photos, making her uncomfortable as she knows what it means. So she looks to her left and finds a ghost of a woman wearing a green dress. Risa dismisses her presence and transfers to another seat. However, when she looks to her right, she finds the ghost sitting near her, only now she looks at her. Risa screams in fear, stopping the rehearsal. Later that day, Riri upsettingly tells Risa that she does not want her to come because she is still embarrassed by Risa's scream in the theater. After that, they go to their rooms. However, Risa turns around as she hears her door creak. She finds a note from the three little boys, apologizing for hiding her phone. On the other hand, Annie wakes up without Auntie on her side, so she checks the pavilion and finds him there, working. The following day, while Risa prepares to leave to fetch Riri, she notices Auntie holding a flower bouquet as he gets in his car and drives away. Later that gloomy day, the sisters meet with the family on their grandma's grave. However, Auntie arrives at the site late. Risa tries to bring up what she saw a while ago, but Auntie quickly stops her. So they pray for Grandma, and after that, they take a picture with Riri's cell phone. Later that night, while Riri plays the jackstone game, she shares with Annie what happened at the rehearsal. Annie defends Risa and reminds Riri that it is not her sister's fault that she has a third eye. However, Riri is still embarrassed. Concurrently, Auntie shows Risa their room, where they notice Auntie in the pavilion, which became his workstation. After that, they go downstairs, where Auntie instructs Risa to call Auntie on the telephone. Risa obliges, but she hears a woman's voice instead of her uncle's voice. Just then, they see Auntie standing in the doorway, so they invite him to eat, but he blankly refuses. Later that night, Auntie is still up playing a game on his phone in his room. The door suddenly opens on its own, but Auntie dismisses it as he thinks it is his mother. He continues to play when he notices a silhouette passes by his room, so he stops playing and checks the surroundings, but he finds the hall's empty. Simultaneously, while Auntie does her night prayer, it reveals that a woman's ghost sits in front of her in the mirror. The ghost moves along with Auntie's humming voice before standing up and coming out from the mirror. After making his coffee, Auntie suddenly hears someone playing the piano, so he checks it but finds the seat empty. So he closes the piano and walks away when the ghost sits on the chair and plays the piano. Auntie freezes in his position as his heart pounds in nervousness. Just then, Annie appears and instructs him to do his evening prayer before sleeping. Auntie dismisses what he just experienced and showers. Auntie wipes the mirror as the hot water fogs it. But instead of seeing his reflection, he sees the woman's ghost. She laughs creepily as Auntie runs his smelly ass away from fear. The following day, Risa finds toys scattered in the living room. Risa cleans it, thinking the ghost boys did it. But another two boys' ghosts reveal themselves and tell her that they are the trio's friends. They disappear quickly, as Riri gives Risa her phone to answer Ankie's call. Auntie tells her that she needs to stay in her house that night, and he will share everything once she's there. Auntie ends the call and informs his mother that the sisters will spend the night at their house. The two return to the house with Auntie, questioning why Auntie plants tuberose in the garden. It is believed that if they can smell flowers in the home, it means it is haunted by a female ghost. Annie scolds her son as it brings bad luck, saying that. Suddenly, a portrait falls from the wall, causing it to break into pieces. Meanwhile, Riri fetches her sister upstairs as they are late. However, as she walks up the stairs, she hears Risa talking to her friends. Risa scolds them for bringing new ghosts into the house without consulting her. Riri pretends she does not hear Risa and reminds her that they need to leave. Risa takes her bag and attempts to leave when the boys stop her and warn her that they should not go to Annie's house. Risa asks them why not, so the ghost boys have no choice but to tell her why. Upon their arrival, Auntie immediately informs Risa about last night's events. Sophie asks whether Risa cannot feel something strange in the house. However, Risa lies, as she cannot tell him yet that his father is possibly having an affair. Later that day, Auntie leaves Riri playing, as she needs to cook dinner. Riri continues to play when the ball suddenly bounces away from her. She searches for it and finds it underneath the chair. She uses her hand to locate the ball when a hand slowly creeps out from the dark and holds her. Riri immediately removes her hand underneath. Later that night, they are getting impatient as Ahmed is still in the pavilion during dinner time. While waiting, they notice the strong tuberose smell as they bloom at night. However, Risa smells something awful. Finally, Ahmed arrives, so the family begins to eat. However, Risa notices that Ahmed just remains seated while repeatedly touching his face. Risa closes the curtains and walks away in their room when she suddenly hears it opening by itself. Although scared, Risa closes it again when a human-like figure appears behind the curtains. Risa endures the fear and tries to see what it is, but Riri suddenly appears in front of her. Risa sighs in relief as the figure disappears. Riri promptly asks if Risa can sense something in the house, as she felt something grab her hand when she was locating the ball. Riri then points out that the garden looks like a grave because of its flowers. Risa checks it, but instead, she finds the woman's ghost passing by. Later that night, Risa wakes up from the continuous banging of the door because of its chain lock, so she gets up to lock it when a ghost's face suddenly appears, shocking her. Risa wakes up and realizes that it is just a dream. As the strange events bother her, Risa leaves the house and goes to the pavilion. She enters and finds Ahmed sleeping on the couch, holding a notebook on his chest. Risa approaches him and slowly takes the notebook. Ahmed's eyes suddenly open. Again, Risa wakes up for real this time and realizes that it is another dream. She goes to the pavilion and quickly takes the notebook from Ahmed. After that, she returns to the house and walks up the stairs when she hears the piano playing. Risa checks it out, but instead finds the seat empty. She puts down the cover when the lights suddenly go out and the piano music replays. She turns around and sees the woman's ghost, so Risa asks who she is. The ghost's raspy laugh echoes before she quickly transfers in front of Risa and tells her to go away. Risa quickly runs to their room and locks it before opening the notebook, which has the name Elizabeth on its first page. As Risa says the name, she suddenly hears Annie's screams. They immediately get out of their rooms and find Annie screaming while covering her head, like trying to hide from something. They take her to the hospital, where she finally calms down from the drugs. Risa and Auntie go to do the morning prayer. Auntie drags his father, who remains unmoved and expressionless after the incident. They go to the washroom to clean themselves, but Ahmed remains standing like a mannequin. They dismiss his strange behavior as they need to pray. They go to the prayer room and begin to pray, unaware that Ahmed has mysteriously disappeared. They only notice that he is gone after the prayer, so they separate to find him. After a while, Auntie calls Risa and informs her that he found his father. Risa suddenly hears someone humming a song, so she follows the voice, leading to the morgue. It comes from a mortuary makeup artist who hums the song as she fixes a corpse's face. She says that the tuberose smell is strong enough to hide the smell of DANUR, the scent incorporated with death or ghosts. She warns Risa to be careful and focus on the ghost's presence because not seeing them does not mean they are not there. The following day, they return home, but Ahmed walks to the pavilion instead of helping his family. Risa tries to feed Auntie, but she stubbornly refuses. This upsets Auntie as weird things occur in the house, but there is really no explanation for them. So Risa takes him to their room and shares with him his father's notebook. They flip and read the pages, and what they discover shocks them. The notebook is Ahmed's diary, and inside are his letters of admiration to a woman named Elizabeth. They continue to read and find that Ahmed is in love with her, so he dedicated the flowers to her. It says that Ahmed does not care if he looked like Elizabeth's former lover, who died decades ago after her birthday, and she blames herself for his death. So Ahmed promises to go with Elizabeth forever. Risa flips the pages and finds a torn picture of Elizabeth and a man who looks like Ahmed. At the back are Elizabeth's Dutch name and her birthday. The photo was taken on Elizabeth's 23rd birthday. Risa then takes Riri's phone and shows Auntie their picture at the cemetery. She compares Elizabeth's birth date and the app that shows an age estimate of 113 years old lady next to Ahmed. Risa realizes that what the app captured is Elizabeth. They worry that Ahmed is willing to die for Elizabeth. So Risa plays the piano to trigger Elizabeth's spirit. She plays and sings the same song Elizabeth played. The lights suddenly go out. They flicker as Auntie hears Risa's bones cracking as she becomes possessed. Risa plays the song before laughing like a crazy person. Auntie bravely faces her and asks what she wants in her family. She replies that Ahmad will die because she will take him with her. The possessed Risa reveals that she is not Elizabeth and says that Ahmad looks like her beloved brother. Auntie shows the photograph and she wails a cry as she shares that her brother was murdered. She then attacks Auntie, who quickly pins her down to the ground. Auntie hears Risa's voice telling him to go away, so he obliges but never leaves Risa alone. He watches in the corner as the ghost in Risa screams like she is in pain before leaving her body. Auntie immediately helps Risa, who quickly recovers and instructs Auntie to stay with his mother and Riri while she helps his father. She goes to the pavilion despite her friend's warning. She finds a piece of a torn picture inside, so she connects it with the one they found in the diary. The photographs reveal a brother standing in between Elizabeth and another woman. Risa then notices her uncle sitting in the dark, with the real Elizabeth standing behind him. Elizabeth whispers something to Ahmad, and Risa knows she ordered him to kill her, so Risa attempts to leave, but the door remains locked. Risa tries to tell her uncle to remember her, but he just wraps his hand around her neck and lifts her up. Although running out of air, Risa desperately sings the song, and fortunately, Ahmad lets her go. He screams as he finally remembers how Elizabeth enticed him and kept him captive. Elizabeth yells in anger, causing Risa to be dragged around the pavilion. Luckily, before she can be harmed, her little ghost friends help Risa. The boys tell Risa that Elizabeth's soul is trapped in the notebook, so Risa informs her uncle about it. He tears the pages into pieces while screaming that he is not her lover and never loved her. Elizabeth yells in anger and agony until she vanishes. After that, Ahmad immediately returns to the house and apologizes to his family. Outside, Risa thanks the 5 ghost boys for helping. They then tell her the identity of the woman who has been disturbing them and possessed Risa. The scene reveals that the woman and Elizabeth were best friends, and Elizabeth was in love with the woman's brother. However, Elizabeth's father disapproved of their relationship, so he killed him. Elizabeth tried her best to stop her father, but she failed. Since her brother's death, the woman ended her friendship with Elizabeth. Elizabeth hanged herself in the pavilion after her lover's death, and she wanted Ahmad to go with her because he looked like her lover. After everything, they attend to Riri's performance. Risa keeps the 5 seats on her right empty for the boys to let them watch. The film ends with Risa encountering a theater ghost, who introduces herself as Canting. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.